Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
Violent moments captured on camera during a traffic stop in Jacksonville, Florida.
Shalom. First, I think about glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. The Babylon is a teacher's a lesson about a great millstone, likewise, brothers put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep into brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled Delusional POW. And POW means prisoners of war. And yes, the 12 tribe of Israel, we are prisoner of a spiritual war that's taking place here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, we are behind enemy lines.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
Violent moments captured on camera during a traffic stop in Jacksonville, Florida. This February video going viral after driver William McNeil Jr., who filmed it inside of his car, posted it Sunday, drawing swift reaction since. It shows an interaction with police already in progress, including the moment an officer breaks McNeil's window and strikes him in the face.
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
But the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says that the video doesn't tell the full story.
Now, you saw in that clip, okay, this is the opening part of a clip that's gone viral concerning this Jake that was supposedly assaulted, okay, as you will see in the clip, by police officers down there in Florida. Now, the first thing you're going to take a look at, or you would notice about this Jake, is when we go into the 1 Corinthians 11 and 14, it reads, "Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is shame unto him?" So he has very, very long hair, okay? And this seemed to be that feminine lifestyle or that feminine hairstyle that these young Jakes like to wear these days. You know, it makes them feel pretty, it makes them feel cute. And you'll see the way his attitude is towards law enforcement, that he feels that way, that he's entitled, that he has rights, okay? He doesn't understand the situation that he's in.
Social media is not reality. One video clip devoid of context can be very misleading.
The sheriff tonight releasing officer-worn body camera footage showing McNeil pulled over for driving without headlights in the rain. They say he wouldn't provide his license and registration.
Now, here you have the sheriff, you know, he is standing for the deputies. Now, he's in a situation where he has to determine whether he go against what has really been enacted, okay, by Esau in these police department to treat certain individuals or certain people a certain way. And now you see D.L. Hughley and Jamie Foxx, they chimed in on this man, you know, who has been referred to as Uncle Ruckus, and you know, there was many other videos that spoke against this man, but I use these two because they're famous, you know, and you know, these two comedians and actors, they understand, okay, the situation or the perils that the so-called black man is in here in Great Babylon, America, even though they're part of the Hollywood family. They still understand that we're subjected to a lot of these type of treatment. I'm quite sure Jamie Foxx and D.L. Hughley knows about the Hebrew Israelites. They know. They've heard some of the scriptures, you know, early on in their life or their career, they've been to church. They know, you know, but this sheriff, he has to make a choice. And that choice is appease your master, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, or call it what it is, okay? And for the most part, our people, okay, who are he's probably most likely a part of that 2/3, is going to side with the master or the oppressor that writes that check out for them every month and who's promising them that retirement, okay? And we can see guys like this. It's kind of like similar to what you saw in the video with the brother, an actor I put out there with this old bottle. These men that feel that, you know, they made it here and, you know, they get a little compensation, you know, in the form of retirement, and so they can speak boldly against this ministry, they don't understand a damn thing. They just want to just speak because they're full of pride and they're full of that confidence that Esau gives them, and they naturally have a hatred for any brother that is not in conformance with the ways of Great Babylon America. And this is what you see here with this sheriff. So he's just doing what a two-third would do.
I'm about to break the window.
You can hear officers repeatedly warning McNeil that if he did not comply with getting out of the vehicle, they would break his window and put him under arrest.
Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. No.
The sheriff says none of the involved officers violated criminal law, but an administrative review is ongoing.
Okay, this is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 19. It reads, "Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out." We are under the curses, okay? We are under the curses pursuant to Deuteronomy 28. And who put us on these curses? The Lord, Yahweh Shai, okay, for being disobedient children. So when you leave the house, you have no guarantee that you will return. In fact, when you go into Deuteronomy 28 and 66, it says, "And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life." This is the reason why we say, Lord's will before we do anything or make any type of plan. Going to camp, going out to the car wash or the grocery store. Because the truth of the matter is that as prisoners of war here in Great Babylon, America, our life is always on the line. We have people, these other tribes, in particular the Edomites, the so-called white man, okay, which includes the women, children, okay, and the man itself, okay, have their eyes set on us. They absolutely hate us, okay, absolutely hate us. And what Jacob don't understand is this: the earth is ruled over by wicked people. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, gave the earth for the wicked to rule. And the only begotten Son, the Mashiach, is going to return to take away that rulership very violently, okay? Because we know that Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, he lives by the sword. So everything that he's gotten by the sword. Now you see in the video, this Jake, he's driving with a suspended license, as it turns out. Okay, he's very disobedient to authority, much in how two-thirds or people out there constantly come up against the man of the Lord that is bringing out this gospel and this truth to let them know this is how your life should be here in Great Babylon, America. Let the Lord Yahweh Shai guide you in your decision making, because yes, we've been oppressed. We are constantly oppressed right now. You're angry. As brothers always say, sometimes you have to take that L. Okay, right now is the time of rulership, okay, of Esau. In fact, when we go into Luke 16 and 25, okay, keep in mind when the rich man, he found himself in hell, basically in his it was a change around between him and Lazarus, okay. He asked for mercy, but it says, but Abraham said, "Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things." Keep in mind, Lazarus represents the 12th tribe of Israel. So anyone coming up and saying, well, Deuteronomy 28 is not prophecy, or it's not, it's not pertaining to us. Well, who else is receiving these type of horrible things or these evil things? None other than the children of Israel. Our northern kingdom tribes are running for their lives. They're scared to even show themselves in public or go to work. The so-called Negro, constantly, we under the threat of death constantly. Where it says, "But now he's comforted and thou art tormented." So likewise, okay, as Esau is tormenting us, okay, mentally and physically, Esau in the kingdom is going to be tormented also too. Because at that stage, or at that time, okay, we would have overcome. Okay, the Mashiach would have returned and put all these other heathen nations down and set up a righteous rulership. Okay, and now it's going to be our turn to be able to, put Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, in his place.
Today, we are hearing from the man who was punched by a police officer during a traffic stop in Jacksonville. CBS Miami morning anchor Betty Wynn is here. And Betty, that man was joined by his family and civil rights attorney Ben Crump.
Yes, that's right. Just over an hour ago, in fact, we got our first look at 22-year-old William McNeil Jr. after his violent arrest that you see here. It went viral. And he stood next to his parents while his attorney stated that some of his injuries are permanent. Now, his chipped tooth was still visible as he very briefly explained what happened.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared.
We have audio, visual evidence, proof of what happened. Nobody has to narrate it for us. To the sheriff, respectfully, you can't justify this.
So this comes as we see a new angle of that traffic stop. Now, the sheriff released body cam video of the arrest. I want you to take a look at it.
Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights, and it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor.
Step out of the vehicle.
No,
Step out of the vehicle.
Okay, so after shutting his door, McNeil refused to exit his car and then kept requesting a supervisor. Officials say he was asked 7 times to step out of his vehicle, but he never did. Now, the state attorney's office found none of the officers violated criminal law. The sheriff is also defending his deputies, and that deputy seen punching McNeil. He is on paid administrative leave pending an internal investigation. As for McNeil, he pleaded guilty to resisting a police officer without violence and driving with a suspended license. However, his attorneys say police stopped McNeil over bogus claims of driving without headlights in broad daylight and not wearing a seatbelt when video shows he was wearing a seatbelt.
Now, the thing that this Jake has not implemented in his life, okay, and we understand, these cops, they make things up, they use and abuse their authority. But you have to keep in mind, this is Esau's time of rulership, and he will rule it the way he sees fit, which is wickedness. And especially now in 2025, Jake, this shouldn't come to you as a surprise. How many of us have to be put to death for y'all to understand? Okay, you have these psychopaths with a gun and a badge roving around looking to put one of us to death. And they just need the slightest thing. So you see where the frustration of these centuries was at the point where they just, lashed out physically. Okay, this is Matthew 5:25. It reads, "Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison." Okay, so we are to agree with the adversary. Let's go and look at the word adversary. Okay, in a etymology dictionary online, it means unfriendly, opponent, enemy. Originally, especially of Satan as the enemy of mankind, and we always refer to who? Esau as the devil, okay, as Satan. Okay, when you go into ordinary dictionary online, this is what the AI overview says. It says an adversary is a person, group, or an entity that opposes, fight against, or acts as an enemy to another. It can refer to a direct opponent in a contest or conflict, or a more general enemy or antagonist, which Esau is an antagonist, okay? He is the opponent of righteousness, okay? He's anti-life. It says in various contexts it can also refer to the devil, which we always refer to this man as the devil that the Bible speaks of, or Satan, okay? So Esau is the adversary, okay, of Jacob. The so-called white man is the adversary of the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go into the book of Psalms 10. And starting with verse 7, it reads, "His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity." So they accuse him of not wearing a seatbelt, which he was wearing a seatbelt, as it turns out. Okay, now he did admit that he was driving on a suspended license. So clearly, this Jake, with his long hair, his attitude towards authority, okay, he feels a little bit special, and of course they're going to bring up the lawsuits, and, they're looking now, they're thinking about, going to get a little bit of money. Well, see, that's a problem right there. See, if you're going to, he turned on the camera, okay, and to me, when I look at this looked like a setup. Like, he had the camera on, and he was going to do that, and was hoping something like this would happen so that he could have a case to go, sue the city or sue the sheriff department, whatever the case is like that. Lord willing, okay, he gets nothing. He gets absolutely nothing. All right? Now, I'm not going to defend the actions of the centuries, but this Jake was definitely out of order. Okay? And this was just all about, let me see what I can get in a court in a lawsuit like that. May the Lord Yahweh Shemai Shai strike that down, and he gets another damn thing. This place is about to go. So, wisdom, man. It says, he sit in the lurking place of the villages, in the secret places where he murdered the innocent. His eyes are privy set against the poor. So there's all kinds of legislation, okay, all kinds of laws and traps that they use. Now, they said that he didn't have his lights on, was inclement weather, and he should have had his lights on, all that stuff. Come on, we know in certain places they say turn your headlights on, certain highways or certain roads or whatever the case is like that. But the reality is that he was picked out because he was, the typical, he fit the description of a typical target, okay, a so-called black man, all right? I mean, in this case, it could have been worse because this happened in February. He could have found himself in alligator Alcatraz, if it was right now. But nonetheless, okay, we have to understand this, because us brothers in this ministry, and haven't had a life prior to coming into this ministry, we've experienced, treatment at the hands of these centuries, or maybe even right now you might have a century that might pull you over, whatever the case is like that. Okay, this is 1 Peter 5. And so verse 6, it reads, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of power, that he may exalt you in due time. So this is the time of Esau, not our time. So he's going to exalt us when the time comes. So we need to be humble in the faith and in the spirit to serve Yahweh Shemai Shai. Don't worry about trying to be all whatever, big and bad in this world like that. Even though you feel something, man, it says casting all your care upon him, for he cared for you. Listen to this. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, okay, which is Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour. Whom resisteth steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplishing your brethren that are in the world. So if you're a brother in this ministry, you catching some hell, other brothers are catching hell too. You maybe have caught hell before, other brothers caught hell before. Maybe some brothers going through their hell right now, and then some brothers can go through their hell in the future. But we all catching hell, one way or the other. We're not in in the glory that we know that we're going to get eventually. Okay, but for now we have to have the understanding, and which is why we bring on these lessons to let Jacob know this man hates you. This man hates you, and the Lord Yahweh Shemai Shai has 2/3 of us that are going to succumb to the judgment which this man is going to be executing. Okay, famine, pestilence, created beasts, all kinds of things. And he is going to come out the elect too. Okay, some of us are going to fall to this. Okay, but this is what we're told, and this is what keeps us, in that straight and narrow, and also giving us that hope. This is Revelation 2:10. It reads, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Okay, which we're going to get these type of things. Pull over, maybe punch, beat. Okay. Behold, the devil, the Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, because he owns a prison system and all of those things, shall cast some of you in prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So they're going to look and they're going to say, okay, y'all think there's a black God coming to save y'all? Y'all think there's a black Savior coming to save you? Y'all are anti-white, anti-Semitic. Okay, well, we got you here right now, and they might waterboard some of us, torture, whatever the case is like that, so that we could lose our trust or our faith in Yahweh Shemai Shai, so that they could have that victory. Okay, but we've been told even unto death that we had to be faithful. So these type of things that's going on like this, and these jakes, you know, they're looking to get a little lawsuit and stuff afterward. These are trivial things, and it's like, this is because they're still here in Great Babylon, America, and they really have no clue, okay, you know, that we're prisoners of war, and that's because they are delusional. Lord willing, the elect was edified. I'd like to close up by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem, Rakakadash, Shalom.